Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. Can we speak about Cristiano Giuntoli? Because the guy is doing things that are totally crazy. He couldn't wait, he had no time to waste. Tomorrow he will be at Juventus officially since 11 months, not even 1 year, but he couldn't wait to really start activating his year one plan. The guy was working, was cooking in the backstage, behind the curtains, and he was waiting. He couldn't wait for making this Juventus year one his Juventus. And yesterday, not one, but two official news that are one more important than the other and are telling us a lot about that new Juventus 24-25. In today's video, we'll speak about Federico Chiesa, because the rumors Federico Chiesa leaving Juventus, they are getting more and more serious. And then the 2-4-1 plan to get to Koopmeiners as soon as possible to Juventus. If you didn't yet, please, I know I repeat it, it takes you 1 second, help me. Subscribing to the channel, also interacting, commenting, diverse opinion, always in the respect of the people that you're writing to me or other people that are giving their opinion that is maybe a contradictory to what you are thinking. Please respect them. But maximum of like, continue to subscribe because now we start. The first deal, we go in terms of chronology, but also maybe even more important than Kaio Jorge is that yesterday the contract of Giuseppe Pompillio has been put in Lega. And from now on, Giuseppe Pompillio will be again the right arm, the right hand of Cristiano Giuntoli. Extremely important. There were a lot of rumors about it. Now it is also official, at least in terms of contract. We are just waiting for Juventus to make it official on their side with the title of Giuseppe Pompillio. But who is Giuseppe? It's not me. It's not Beppe Bognani, it is Beppe Pompillio. He's one that always worked with Cristiano Giuntoli. He will be there working also him in the backstage, working on the deals, the contract, super strong in terms of administrative things, contract things. He's working, he's preparing everything. He goes with him. Why? Because there is something that people probably they didn't pay attention to that much. When Cristiano Giuntoli arrived at Juve, really late because of Napoli on the 7th of July, he came alone. He came alone in an already existing management that was already working. Manna, Tognozzi, Allegri. He was there alone, arriving in a mercato, super important, not with limited budget, with no budget. And he was there for a year zero. Clearly said by also John Elkann, Cristiano Giuntoli is the one that will take care of bringing Juventus again back to the top. This is a year zero. Next year is the year one. Now, of course, Cristiano Giuntoli, that we spoke a bit about, but not that much because there was the front man, the kind of scapegoat, Max Allegri. When the results were good, we blamed him for the way of playing. When the results were not good, we were blaming him for the way of playing and the results that were not there, but we were not speaking that much about Cristiano because it was not yet the Juve of Cristiano Giuntoli. This is over now. Now we're speaking about a Cristiano Giuntoli's Juventus. It will be his name, and he wants to do well. A Juventino like Cristiano wants to do everything to make sure that that first real Cristiano Giuntoli Juventus is working well. Choosing the coach, but also surrounding himself with men that he already trusts, that he doesn't need to go and explain them how to work because they know each other blindly for all the experience. Not only Pompillio, that will be official, that is official now, but also a Stefanelli that could join and other people that Cristiano always worked with. A Cristiano Giuntoli Juventus. And that's a really great one, especially if we know that there is no time to waste. Because look at that second official news, the one of yesterday, Kaio Jorge to Cruzeiro. Super important. That tells us a lot. Yesterday I went crazy. Yesterday I really went crazy because I started to see that it started to be serious. There were already rumors since a few weeks, but it started to be serious with Cruzeiro interested in Kaio Jorge. Really interested, and they wanted to offer between 4 and 5 million euro for a Brazilian striker. At a certain moment, I see that it's getting serious, but I see that Cristiano Giuntoli is asking for 10 million euro. My first reaction, I think it's the reaction of a lot of people, were, Cristiano, don't stretch too much, don't ask too much, because sometimes when you're stretching too much that elastic band, well, it breaks. Instead of having 4 or 5 million euro for a player that is absolutely not in the plans of Juve, well, you could possibly, and asking for 10, you could probably have 0 euro. So don't exaggerate. I was crazy. I was a fool. Why? Because actually, again, he fooled everyone, he dribbled everyone because they were not in the stages of the first real rumors like we saw yesterday, but everything was already a done deal. Everything was a done deal. And the 10 million that he requested is probably from some weeks ago, where he was able to go for a 7 million euro for Kaio Jorge, plus 30% on the future possible resale. Guys, this is a masterclass. For the way that he's acting, nobody knew about it, and for the price that he wanted and he asked. What does it show us? That I told you, in the last years, really a lot of years, Juventus had a really huge, big inability to sell. With Cristiano Giuntoli, if there is one thing that we spoke about on this channel, was the fact that there is a change in the way of selling. Go back to what we said about Zakaria. That was about to close with West Ham, lower figures, and at the end, we said no. We sold him to Monaco for more than West Ham would have given us. Everything was a done deal. There we see the first way of working of Cristiano Giuntoli. And these kind of deals, the minor deals that are, you know when they happen usually? On the 31st of August. Okay, we checked, we tried with a lot, we couldn't have what we wanted. You know what? Let's go and find a deal because it's not in the plans. This time, we start immediately with it. Why? Because there is an objective. Taking as much as possible from players that we don't want, taking that and then reinvesting on our objective that we already have clear in mind. Di Gregorio, Calafiori, Koopmeiners, and others. You see the way of changing of Cristiano Giuntoli. Then I'm not here to tell you that everything will be perfect, that it will be fantastic, but we see a change that Juventus really needed. Now there is of course one thing that is really important to mention about Caio Jorge. In the official communication of Cruzeiro, it's really written in Brazilian, in Portuguese, but black on white. He needs of course to pass the medical test, which is something until it doesn't go there, until it's not successful, that we need to be cautious. We all remember, Patrick Schick, but also recently Huijsen with Atletico Madrid. So pay attention for that, especially because the guy, we know from what he comes from, a really big injury. At Frosinone, he didn't play that much, even if it was able in that year of loan to come back on an acceptable physical level. So hopefully, and then, of course, last few words of Kaio. Of course, I'm sad. Of course, I'm sad for him because it is unfortunate. These big injuries, that's the last thing that you wish to a player, whoever he is and whoever club he's playing for. What is the next one in line? Thiago Motta. We have a date finally, second week of July, so it could be next week from the 10th. People are saying from the 14th, 15th should be official communication from Juventus finally. Habebus, Thiago Motta, finally, I can't wait. We'll come back on that one because you already know, but it's good. Good. Going to the core of the video, Tutto Sport is speaking about Coop, Juve, Avanti Tutta. Let's go. All ahead. We go for Koopmeiners. There is a possibility, and they are describing it with a 2-4-1. I always told you here on the channel, I never believed in the fact that Juventus would have gone with 60 million euro, boom, cash on the table for Atalanta, because that's what their requests are. 60 million euro for the Dutch player, never believed in that. Never believed in that. I was not even imaging Koopmeiners in our midfield because I said it's impossible. I understand big priority in that midfield, goal contribution in assists and goals. He can do the defensive phase, he can do offensive phase, he can do these set pieces with the right foot, which we need at Juventus. So yes, he's ticking all the boxes of the midfielder that Juventus need. But for 60 million, no. I already told you since 2 days now in a row that Huijsen is actually giving power to Juventus, thanks to the fact that Atalanta, unfortunately, that injury of Scalvini, they need a player in defense. But there is also another name that Gasperini loves, and it is Iling Jr. Of course, Iling Jr. has 1 more year of contract, so you can't cash in with 30 million. You can't go with 30 million Huijsen, 30 million Iling, and it's over, and you have satisfied Atalanta's request. No, because 1 more year of contract, it means their value is lower. But 15 million euro, you can go for it. Especially if you know what you were able to sell Caio Jorge. Pay attention to the value of Iling Jr. That, again, Gasperini loves his way of playing, offensive player, dribble player. We know Iling Jr. Will it happen or not? I don't know. But that's a big possibility. Inserting not 1, but 2 players to Atalanta to make the deal as soon as possible. For 2 reasons. For Atalanta, because Gasperini, he always wants to have his team as close as possible to what it will be when they start the Retiro. And this is also what Thiago Motta asked to Giuntoli. Make sure that we go fast, because I want a team that will need to study new way of playing. and a lot of drastic change. I want them as soon as possible. And that's why Cristiano is not waiting and not wasting any single minute. Then there is another way, of course, selling Huijsen to another team, cashing in and giving more cash to Atalanta. What are the teams that are on the Spanish-Dutch player? Newcastle, Dortmund, we knew, but also the Leverkusen of Xavi Alonso. A Leverkusen that is also on Mattia Solé. We'll come back on him in a second. And then you see that picture. What a disgusting picture, of course. Federico Chiesa in the shirt of AS Roma. Everyone is speaking about it. It's not only the channel, so don't blame me. I'm not doing Mercato, guys. I am not inventing news, but I'm warning you since really long now. Pay attention. If Federico doesn't extend his contract, there are high possibilities that he could be sold. I believe the first time that I really mentioned it on the channel, but seriously, it was on the 4th of January, thanks to Sir Raz Valentino, that yesterday took these notes back and told Giuseppe that was the date when you literally said it. And I said, pay attention. Are we here to say it's a done deal, he will leave Juventus? No, we are not here, but everyone is speaking about it. Gazzetta, Transfer Market, Sky Sport Italia, everyone, Alfredo Pedula, everyone is speaking about a problem there. Because apparently Chiesa is not that happy, because he doesn't want to go with that bridge year, 1 year of contract extension, because of what Juventus are about to offer him. He wanted more. They're speaking from a contract at the moment of 5.5. He wanted to go towards 7.5, 8 million euro, which Juventus has absolutely no intention to do. Angelo Mangiante, that is taking care of Roma for Sky Sport, yesterday he said Chiesa is the ideal profile of player that De Rossi wants. It is first priority. He put it there on top of the list to reinforce Roma. There is a contract until 2025, and that's where Roma will play on, because or it's now or he will leave in February for free, or at least being able to sign for any other team for free. What Juventus wants absolutely to avoid. Next week, Fali Ramadani, the agent of Federico, will be in Roma to speak about diverse players, but the big topic will be Chiesa. What are the possibilities of Roma? How serious is Roma about Chiesa? On Corriere dello Sport a few days ago, we saw 25 million euros is what Juventus would be happy for. No, Juventus is asking for 40 million euro, which is way too much for Roma, because they said, first of all, we don't have the money. Yes, of course, we will sell some players like maybe Tammy Abraham. Lukaku will not go there, don't be there here anymore. Maybe Dybala could leave Roma. So they are trying to collect as much as possible to go with a real offer. 40 is too much for a player of 1 year of contract. 25 is way too not enough. So there will be a middle way, the offer of Roma. Then Chiesa needs to accept. Juventus needs to accept. We are far from a done deal. It will be something that will happen probably after Euro 24, when the Italian guy will show his real value, or at least that the objective that he has in mind, showing his real value. Chiesa is not that happy. Juventus is not that happy. And Thiago Motta is seriously not convinced. And if we are speaking about tactical side, way of playing of Thiago, I know that it was a big controversy the last few days. Well, go back and watch the last game of Italy, where there was no Allegri, but it was a Spalletti. There was a Federico Chiesa. Well, everything that we watch in these first 45 minutes of Chiesa is absolutely what Thiago Motta doesn't want at Juventus. A player that is stubborn in succeeding alone in his way of playing, stubborn with his head on the ground, not watching what is happening around him. We know that is one of the weaknesses of Chiesa. When he has these moments like we know him, well, this is absolutely what Thiago Motta refused to see in any of his players at Juventus. We don't speak about the quality of Chiesa, we all know them. But if you look at that one, well, this is what Juventus needs to agree with Chiesa. Or you are able to adapt, or it will be difficult for you to play. And that's also why Chiesa is now doubting, should I stay, should I not stay? I want to show, and that's what he will try to do with the team of Spalletti in Euro 24 that will start for Italy, I believe, the 15th of June. So pay attention, monitoring. There is also Bayern Munich from a distance that is observing, but the player would love to stay in Italy. Now, there is also a Napoli that is on the player. Then a lot of questions I received about Giuseppe, but if we sell Chiesa, we keep Solé, because you can't just sell and Chiesa and Solé. There, on Solé at the moment, he's on the market, but it's not on the market. It's a hybrid situation because the guy said, I received so many beautiful words from Thiago Motta publicly. I want to prove him. I want to stay at Juve. I want to show him that I deserve to play in that Juventus 24-25 as a rotational player plus or even a starter, but I want to convince him, and I'm sure that I can do it. Of course, if Juventus doesn't believe in me, if they don't want to really point on me on a player of Juventus, then best friends, we shake hands, and I have offers from all around the world. Even Leverkusen is also interested in him. What is the real value of Soulé? Also there, 35-40 million euro initial request by Juventus, and then we can cash in with all profit for Soulé. So it's also a situation that we need to monitor. And then answering your question, Beppe, if we sell both, we have nobody else to play in front also because Moiskin, probably also Milik could leave. Who do we play with? Only with Vlahovic and with Yildiz? No, there will be more players that will join if we are able to do all these deals that at the moment are not that closed yet. We didn't close for Chiesa. We are not closing at the moment for Soulé, so we will need to be patient. But there are some players already in that list. A Greenwood, according to Gazzetta dello Sport. There is a Bakayoko that popped up. There is a Zegrova. So there are a lot of names that are there to be monitored in case you sell a few players there up front. Another player that is a top priority is Calafiori, but also there we need to wait. Unfortunately, we need to wait because Bologna got pissed off. They lost Thiago Motta. They are about to lose Zirkzee maybe to Milan. Ferguson is injured. They announced Italiano, but of course, not that they want to win the Champions League, but they want to do a bit well, at least winning one game. They also want to continue to qualify to Europe for the next few years, becoming the new Atalanta. They know that selling all their players, it is a problem. But Calafiori really wants to go to Juve, so Juventus will insist. Unfortunately, probably it will be longer, it will take longer, and it will be also a bit more expensive that Juventus was initially targeting. But Calafiori to Juventus should be a done deal. Grazie for following, grazie forza, Juve.